Welcome to Mighty Sweet Bites. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this rainbow heart-shaped cake. It looks like a number or a letter cake, but instead it's in a heart shape. It's for my 3-year anniversary, marriage anniversary with my husband. So I hope you enjoy this video and keep up with all the following videos by subscribing and liking. Let's start with the ingredients. I usually make my cakes from scratch, but I just haven't been able to make it as good as this butter pecan cake mix. So let's start with 1.5 bags of butter pecan cake mix from Betty Crocker Delights, half a cup of butter, 1 1/3 cups of milk, and 5 eggs. Make sure all these things are at room temperature so that it will be at optimal temperature. After you have mixed your batter, you'll divide the batter into 5 equal parts using a 1 cup measuring cup. You're also going to need 5 different colors of food coloring in gel, and if you have whisks, good. If not, just use spoons to mix in the color. So we're back after mixing in the colors, and we're ready to put inside the heart-shaped pan. So at this point, make sure you have turned your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're gonna start mixing in the colors. I would like to start with the color blue because that's one of my daughter's favorite colors. Make sure you lined your pan. I lined it with parchment paper, and I sprayed it with cooking spray under the parchment paper and on top of the parchment paper. So make sure you have done that. I'm gonna grab a little spoon to get all of the batter out of this plate. In the meantime, your oven will start heating up so that when you're ready to put this in there, it won't be cold or take any longer time to heat up. Okay, so after the first layer, you're gonna kind of shake it up in there so that it gets all the way in there. Okay, that's good. It doesn't have to be perfect. It'll start expanding once I pour the other ones in there. Next, I'm going to do yellow. And you can eyeball it a little bit. Make sure you spread it around. That way you don't have to be hitting your working space with the pan. All right, let's get all of that in there. Ladies. That's looking good. Now let's do, how about we do red? I'm just gonna do them in the order that I have them, except next I'll do green. After this red one, I will be doing the green one. This is burgundy. It's not red just because I felt like doing burgundy. It wasn't gonna take as much food coloring, so. And for the food coloring, a little will go a long way, except for when the color is red, it takes a lot more. That's why I use burgundy. I'm sorry, I'm hitting the, okay. Let's do green. I'm just gonna use the yellow spoon because it won't mess with the color. And as you're spooning in here, you notice the batter starts spreading by itself. Oh, this smells so good. I can smell the butter pecan. Looking great, looking great. Purple. And it spreads so nicely when you start putting the batter in there. So you don't have to worry about banging your pan too much. And it's ready to go in the oven, 350 degrees. We're gonna leave it in there about 40 minutes. Just keep checking your oven. It can take more or less depending on the altitude and the type of oven you're using. I inserted a toothpick to make sure that it is fully cooked, and sure enough, it is. So now I'm gonna let it cool down completely before I begin cutting the cake in 2 layers and adding the buttercream. After your cake has cooled completely, I had to level it because it was a little domed at the top. So I leveled it with a knife. You can also use this cake leveler that I will be using to cut it in half to make my 2 layers. So let me go ahead and cut this into 2 layers. You can use a knife for this part too, but since I have a cake leveler, that's what I'm using. And I also have this, which helps a lot. Wow, look how pretty. We are ready for the buttercream. For the cream cheese buttercream, you're going to need 4 ounces of cream cheese, 2 sticks of butter, 4 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and if the buttercream is too thick, then you'll add 1 teaspoon of heavy cream or whole milk. Mix this all in the mixer and we'll be ready to decorate the cake. Make sure all of this is at room temperature so that it'll be a lot easier to whisk together. We're now ready for the cookie cutter. Let's do that on both layers. Look how cute that is. It's time to put your buttercream in a piping bag. I have here a cup to put the piping bag in, the circular tip, and I'm just gonna cut this so that the tip fits in here. Let's transfer all this buttercream We are ready to pipe this cake. So take your time, don't feel rushed. I have a little more experience with this because I've been making cakes. I noticed that I did make the heart a little bigger just because the cookie cutter wasn't as big as I wanted it to be. But I'm gonna go and finish this up. I didn't fill in all the gaps just because that's the bottom layer. And I wanna make sure that this was enough buttercream. So let's just layer that on top. It's okay if it's not perfect. And let's continue this piping. I'll be back once I have finished piping this part. We'll clean up all around. You probably will have enough buttercream, so don't worry about that. I've already tested it. And we're gonna put this in the fridge, let it cool for about an hour, and we'll come and finish decorating. I used the leftover buttercream to color the buttercream the same colors I colored the batter. And I'm also going to be using Raindrop Fruit Chews Sicklets, which are pearl covered chocolates, and the star tip instead of the round tip. Let's start decorating. I'm so excited. And I just mixed in all the buttercream colors in no specific way. Well, there's a little bit more blue coming out, but I'm just gonna do some rosettes. Look at how beautiful that's coming out. I'm liking it so far. You can use different tips. It would look so beautiful with different types of tips to do different decorations like this. Right now I'm going to do something a little different with the same tip. You see how nice that looks? You can use the same star tip to make these. Let me do one more rosette right here. And just wherever you would like to put, You gotta do this slowly to make sure that it doesn't look bad. See? Looking cute. Ariana and Asalia, can you please be quiet? And here I'm just gonna drop some sixlets. It's chocolate covered pearls. Different colors. There's white, yellow, green, blue. Oh no, I should have put another color here. Oh well, I'll just do this. That looks nice. Ooh, let me just do that all over. See, and you can play around with the decorating. It doesn't have to be just how I'm doing it. You might have a better idea and better materials to do. See how nice. Sorry, my girls are in the background. I hope you don't mind. It's hard to do this whenever you have kids. I'll probably record over this. If not, it's because I didn't have time to. Hey. And the bits of pieces that I had from the heart, from the hearts that I cut out, I kept some of these pieces because I thought it would look cute to add pieces of cake. I finished adding pieces of cake and then I added the fruit chews. I had to cut this video short and stop it where I was at because my baby went number 2, so I had to change that immediately. Thank you for watching.